Is the wild update wild enough? Right off the bat, I want to say there's no true answer. It's clearly subjective. Everybody's going to feel differently about 1.19, but is the wild update wild enough? I've seen a lot of my YouTube friends talk about this very same question quite recently, some even suggesting it's the Caves Update Part 3. Now, I'm not here to debate anybody's opinions or thoughts or how they feel about 1.19, the wild update, because regardless of how we feel, the majority of Minecrafters in the community will enjoy 1.19 and have never experienced any of the betas or snapshots. So I feel like overall, this is a good update. But we're not really debating if it's good, or at least I'm not. We're trying to figure out if this update is wild. Does it accomplish what Mojang set out to do? With immersion, with being scary and spooky and creepy, and making the player feel like they are in Minecraft. These are the important questions, and it's what I really want to know from you guys, because your opinions are really what matters the most. As a content creator, I'm always going to be somewhat biased because, I like to entertain people, but I also like to have really cool stuff in Minecraft, regardless of if it really fits the theme or fits the game or not. So, no matter what, I'm always going to be trying to get the coolest features in Minecraft, and I'm pretty self-aware of that fact, but I really care about your opinions and thoughts because I think for the most part, what I'm seeing from the community is mixed feelings. Not just my community, but from a lot of different other communities. A lot of people just don't really know how they feel about this update, and I think it goes to the very beginning of what they were trying to accomplish. Now, we can actually hear it directly from Lady Agnes. Here's the goal for the wild update.
The word wild mainly means like two things for us. So the first thing is like beautiful nature, and the second thing is like really scary challenges and adventures.
So Agnes, the deep dark is one part, this sort of very adventurous side of the wild update, which the name is starting to really become clear after talking to Brandon. And then the other part you said is really this more of that beauty and, the atmosphere of Minecraft.
Yes, so we want to like celebrate the wilderness of Minecraft. And one thing we want to focus on is immersion. So when you play Minecraft, we really want you to feel that you're inside the Minecraft world. Actually, like we are now. It's so beautiful. And we also want to focus or have focused on biome diversity. So we want to find like a unique identity for different biomes. For example, the birch forest, as you can see in this beautiful concept art. So in the birch forest, we want it to be like light and peaceful, and the sun reaches the ground, the trees are taller, and the flowers, things like that.
It's
A rather ambitious project, you gotta admit. Trying to make biomes feel more alive, more wild, and immersive is really difficult because that feeling, that emotion you get is different for every single player. But I think they had a sense for what they were trying to do in certain biomes. They wanted more nature, right? They wanted more nature to make biomes feel more alive, like you were actually in those biomes. And they showcased it using beautiful, captivating concept art. They showcased the birch forest, the swamps, and the mangrove swamps. Some really awesome, beautiful images, right? We can see Alex and Steve enjoying the beautiful scenery, the beautiful biomes with the sunset. We got the fireflies lighting up the sky. We see brand new flowers and mushrooms growing off of trees, taller trees, and it's just beautiful and gorgeous. And it really does depict what they're trying to accomplish and what they want us to feel from this update, because it's an update about how you feel. This isn't one of those more straightforward updates like Village and Pillage, right? You got villagers and you got pillagers, or Update Aquatic, which we would naturally expect ocean features. The Nether update, the same thing. We're gonna expect some really cool nether features. So a lot does ride on the name. The name is extremely important because it is the identity of the entire update. Wild update. So this is where we gotta figure out, is it wild enough? And in my honest opinion, no. The simple answer to me is no, it is not wild. Is it a good update? Yes. it introduces one of the craziest structures we've ever received in Minecraft. It's actually my second favorite. The End City is still my favorite, but the Ancient City, which is arguably still a cave update feature, is one of the scariest environments in all of Minecraft. And I've spent over 40 hours in survival in the Ancient City, and it's still creepy. It's still one of those things where you never feel safe, and you never know what's gonna happen, and I love that feeling. I love the feeling of my heart racing in this environment that's mysterious. You don't know exactly what happened or how everything came to be in terms of Skulk and the Warden. All you really know is that you're in this mysterious, dark environment that's constantly trying to reject you and alert the Warden. This basically monstrous, boss-like figure that towers over you that can kill you in 1 hit, 2 hits, and kill you from a distance as well. So by far one of the most dangerous places, yet if you are to survive it, you will be rewarded with some cool exclusive items like the fragments, the shards, and a brand new enchantment. So some really cool loot can be discovered in the Ancient Cities in the Warden. So part of the update, which is the spooky aspect, they nailed it. They crushed it. Is it a 1.18 Caves update feature? Yes, and it's also a 1.19 feature, and I'm not going to take away that fact. So I would say half of the update being about the spooky, creepy part, they nailed it. They crushed it, and you can tell they spent a lot of time making sure they get the feeling and the atmosphere correct. So in terms of the scary element, they got that down 100%. But that's not the entire update. And it's certainly not a guarantee that every player, every single gamer out there will be able to encounter the Warden, will be able to experience the Deep Dark or the Ancient Cities. I mean, they're still relatively rare, so not every single person is going to be able to stumble upon these frightening, terrifying features, and I think that's something to be noted. That's something definitely worth considering. Not all players are going to be able to experience brand new features that Mojang has been working on for close to 2 years in terms of the Deep Dark and the Warden. So yeah, that is definitely worth considering, especially people that have never played around with the snapshot or the betas or have no true idea about the Ancient Cities, the Deep Dark, the Warden, and the Skulk family. But let's focus a little bit more about the biomes, because when Lady Agnes was explaining the biomes and what they were trying to accomplish, she wasn't just talking about one biome. And another important fact, she wasn't just showcasing one biome. Now, we can argue the fact that, it was concept art, which I will agree. Nothing is ever promised or guaranteed when showcasing concept art. But if you're using these concept images as a way to describe what you're trying to accomplish with a very abstract type of update, I believe overall the community is going to naturally expect those features, or at least assume that some of that is coming. Not everything, but they're probably going to assume that flowers are coming, that, these taller trees, more luscious trees, new vegetation, new plants will be coming when they're talking about immersive features. And they're talking about biomes that are going to look and feel different, right? That's basically the update. And they did come through with the mangrove swamps. So we have brand new wood types, the mangrove wood. We got several new blocks. And Mojang's been killing it when it comes to all of the blocks they've been introducing in every single major update, from Caves and Cliffs to the Nether update, Update Aquatic. They have been coming through with a ton of new blocks, and it's no different in the Wild update. But new blocks doesn't necessarily mean something is more immersive. However, in the case of the mangrove, it does give it its own unique identity and builds up the character to sort of separate it from a regular swamp. The mangrove is an upgraded version of the swamps. It looks better, it feels better. I love the mud blocks. I love the tall mangrove trees. It just is a better looking swamp biome. The swamp is always known for being this ugly, gray, yucky looking biome. Yes, that's my opinion, but I think for the most part, it's been in the game for such a long time that it's just sort of a fact amongst veteran Minecrafters. This swamp is just really ugly. So I think a lot of people were assuming that, yeah, it was going to get some new features to make it look better. There's a lot of animals that are under review right now on feedback. They've been sitting there for 4+ years. So that would definitely help with immersion. Having more animals, having more plants would help with immersion. And it's really sad that the swamp didn't get too much love considering it's such an ugly biome. And I know I'm not the only person that feels that way. So don't be like, oh, I love the swamp biome stealth. It's gorgeous. It is a very ugly biome, but at the same time, it almost brings me back to before we had the Caves and Cliffs update, before we had these beautiful, gorgeous, majestic mountains, we had the extreme hills. We all remember how ugly the extreme hills were, and now that we have the mountains, who's ever going to want to go to that and build there? Nobody, because there's nothing that's truly incentivizing us to be in those type of biomes. And I think Mojang is starting to run into an issue here where we have top tier biomes, and then you have these biomes that you just want to full sprint through. You don't even care. You just want to get through these biomes as quickly as possible. And I think that was one thing a lot of us were hoping for in 1.19 is biome identity. For these biomes to have something specific to them that would encourage players to want to stay in them. And I don't really believe there's a shortage of ideas. There's so many places Mojang can go to for ideas. I've seen some really good ideas on Twitter. Yes, there's a lot of trolls on Twitter, but it does have a lot of creative users, as well as Reddit. It goes without saying that some of our most intelligent, as well as most creative, talented artists and developers and modders are on Reddit. And then we got feedback, the place that they've been encouraging us to go to for the past almost 5 years to share our ideas, that is essentially abandoned at this point. So I never feel like there's a shortage of ideas. There might be a shortage of time, which if that's the case, Mojang has to address that through either hiring more developers or maybe considering just one major update per year. That's something they should definitely consider if they haven't already. There's a lot of things that they should think about in the future in terms of even describing their updates or what they choose to showcase during Minecraft Live, which is an event that is well known to be the event for the next major update. Yes, you're going to have some fun panels. Yes, you're going to have some things that will get people hyped and excited, but the core, the essence of Minecraft Live, excluding the community, is the next major update. It's when they decide to start talking about features we can expect in the next upcoming year, however long it takes them to develop it. It's when they finally decide to start sharing their secrets. We all know they're plotting, we all know they're working on some cool stuff, but this is the time where they start showcasing it to the entire world. But I feel like Minecraft Live, we can leave that for a separate video. We can leave that for some other time because this could easily be a 30-minute video if we start talking about the things that they should work on, the things that they should focus more on. Like, there's a lot going on with Minecraft Live, and you guys know Minecraft Live means a lot to me. It is something I care so much about. So we'll talk about that in a future video if you want to see that. But let's just focus more on immersion and is it wild? In conclusion, no, it's not wild. The main reason being is because even to Mojang standards, I don't necessarily think they accomplished everything they truly set out to accomplish, but that's not to say that they didn't include immersive features. I'm a huge fan of the frogs and the tadpoles, and I already talked about the deep dark and the ancient cities, but we also got a brand new wood, which as a builder, I'm always excited to start building with a brand new wood. We got the brand new boats with the chest. We got brand new music, which is always spectacular. Lena Rain is extremely talented, and yeah, it's just wonderful music. We got a brand new music disc, so we do have some trophy items in the ancient city, which I'm really excited about, which adds a lot of lore as well. But is it wild? That's the question I'm trying to answer, and I would say no. I'm comparing this to other updates that they've worked on in the past that have felt more wild. Most recently, the Caves and Cliffs update has felt more wild. They've introduced a ton of new biomes. The world generation has changed, increased world height limit. Biomes have new blocks that used to not have those blocks. Some biomes have villages that used to not have villages. So they focused a lot on how these biomes feel after increasing and playing around with the world generation in basically every single biome. And then we got the legendary 1.7 update, the update that changed the world, introducing a ton of new biomes, a ton of new flowers and blocks and items. It was just a massive update. So those updates alone feel more immersive, feel more wild, in my opinion. Now, I know I didn't touch and cover every single feature that's in 1.19. As of right now, it's still not finished. And that's something that we should all remember. I mean, the update isn't finished. They could still introduce more features. We're not even in pre-release right now, depending on when you're watching this video. So a lot more can still happen to 1.19, and it's worth addressing it. But in terms of it being wild, I don't think it is. Is it a good update? Yes, it's an amazing update, introducing some spectacular features that will honestly redefine Minecraft and how we engage in certain biomes, like the Deep Dark. So the fact that this update isn't very wild might not mean a lot to most players out there. I'm pretty well aware of that, and it might not mean a lot to you. Or if you're just a diehard fan of Minecraft and Minecraft Live and you fell in love with the concept art and you fell in love with how Mojang was portraying this update, then yeah, you're probably going to be slightly disappointed. And to finish this video with my final thoughts, the good news is we will always have something to look forward to. As a Minecrafter, they are always working on something new. They're always starting to prep for the next update. And that in and of itself is pretty cool. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. So take care. Peace.